Right, we're back. We're back, everybody, again. Thanks for joining me, Darkside. You've got your technology sorted by the looks of it. You got a better internet connection today. He's not lagging, which is a good start. So have you had a good Christmas?
Oh, mate, it's been great. You know what I mean? It's been a really good time, nice and relaxing. Just adding to the stomach with some beautiful amber nectar. And yeah, just enjoying life in general, Matt, you know. But before we go live, I'd just like to say, guys, thank you so much for all the total sellout of all our merchandise throughout Christmas, the Christmas period. We don't know when the next lot of stock's coming in, so thank you so much, and look forward to sort of restocking back in mid-January.
We'll sort that out soon enough. Bit of an ad hoc one tonight. Some of me Solihull crew mates from the 9-ball. We've got Tom Emes and Jan Ibrahim. We're going to get them in. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have to free roll this a little bit, but I know Jan can be quite controversial sometimes. So maybe we'll have a bit of that in a minute. But look, we'll get them in. Tom's drinking. Are you all right, guys? How are you? Have you had a good Christmas as well?
Yeah, it's been lovely.
Yeah,
plenty of food, drink.
Have you had any more pool merchandise for Christmas? Any jump cues, break cues, gloves, chalk? I don't know.
I haven't. I've got an abundance of socks, though. I could probably convert one of those to a glove, I suppose.
Maybe.
That might work.
You could try that. Maybe it might work a bit better. I don't know. But yeah,
Tom, what a revelation. It looks like you're a gunner, mate. I love the shirt behind. Is that an Arsenal top I can see?
Oh, is that hanging there, is it? Yeah, who put that there? Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just nothing to do with the fact we're top of the league for Christmas. But yeah, if you're asking, yeah, I do follow them.
Me too, mate.
Background.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, fellow Darkside, he follows the Gunners as well. Didn't know that, Gareth, actually.
Yeah, there you go. We'll keep that secret.
Yeah.
Well, look, thanks for coming, guys. Tom?
No, sorry, no, I was just going to say, it's funny you said, did you get anything, anything, you know, pool-wise for Christmas? Because, I mean, I feel a bit spoiled, to be honest, but my family, they all sort of pulled together, and they've actually got me a pool table. So I'm going to be a lot more on it in
really?
future. I'm going to practice.
You've had a full, whereabouts? I mean, no, you're always looking to get. Whereabouts are you going to put that?
I'm going to put it on my desk.
Oh,
just on the office desk. So.
Well, maybe you can. I don't know. Get a bit of practice on that, ready for them Wednesday night Solihull spectaculars and the Sundays that we do as well. But speaking of Solihull,
it might. I was going to say it might speed you up, Tom. You don't have to walk around the table quite so much. Help compensate for your sloth-like manner.
Yeah, you gave me a bad rep, you have, Tom. I played you once, didn't I? You know, what was the score? It was 4-0 up, first to 5. And it was on a Wednesday night, wasn't it? One of the weekly things. And you beat me 5-4, didn't you? And that game took like an hour and a half.
Was that the hour and a half race to 5 that's gone down in Solihull history?
Since then, I've got a rep as being like a slow. But I don't know, it was Tom's fault. He just made me that way. I don't know. You're giving me a bad rep now. But anyway, speaking of Solihull, yeah, I mean, Jan, obviously you have a lot to do with the tournaments there. I mean, what is your official kind of status on them? You're not tournament director, are you? Just
well, I'm single at the moment. Well, the tournaments. Yeah. Well, when you say Solihull, obviously there's two things that go on there, isn't there? So there's the Wednesday night £10 tournament, and then there's the series. So the Wednesday night, it's Andy Carter that sort of does that, really. But yeah, I've been going a long time, so I help in the background occasionally with the odd bits and pieces. But yeah, that's Andy's. But I'm sort of officially part of the series along with Andy and Daryl. We all do different bits and pieces. Daryl's kind of the brains behind it, really, and takes the lead on most stuff. I tend to do sort of background organising, and I'll do the write-ups as well afterwards. And Andy tends to be the dog's body on the day, really.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all, there, Jan. Because, like I say, well, thanks for putting them on. Because it's great to come up and play in your events when you put them on. So I love coming up from down atmosphere and playing in them. So thanks very much. I was unaware that you was involved in that.
Yeah, I mean they are
No,
good
no,
events.
it's fine. It's good to have you.
The quality's getting better all the time on these events. I know you've just announced the dates as well for next year now. I've had a quick look at them, but with them announcing the matchroom dates as well, is the one coinciding around the UK Open? Because that's at Telford, isn't it now? So I'm just wondering maybe whether we'll see a few of the top, top professionals maybe just coming over on maybe a Wednesday night or a Sunday comp just to get a bit more practice.
We had fingers crossed we do. Off the top of my head, I can't even remember the dates now, and I was the main one that picked them because I've got like double the dates going around in my head because I did all the dates. That was the thing I did. And then literally probably 5 minutes before Daryl was about to post them online, I think Phil Wallman posted his lot.
Always, yeah.
So it was back to the drawing board really, but so they changed a bit. So off the top of my head, I can't remember what we settled on in the end. But yeah, hopefully we do get a couple of big name players. It's always interesting.
We've got the dates here actually in front of me. We had
mid-April.
Well, we've got one.
May.
I'm just looking.
May's the first one.
14th of April, according to the flyer.
What, the UK Open?
No. For the Solihull 9-ball.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's event 3, 14th of April. So UK Open. When's it? Is it early May? UK Open.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in that region. Yeah, I'm not quite sure when.
May the 4th.
Are you boys going to go for it?
I'm thinking of Star Wars. Sorry, it's the dark side. May the 3rd, May the 4th. I don't know.
May the 4th.
May
yeah.
the 4th.
Are any of you boys going for the UK Open? You going to give it a go?
Possibly, given that it's in Telford. Yeah, I wasn't going to, but being as it's closer now, I might donate my money to the winners pot. I might give it a go because it's more local. But yeah, on the subject of what Matt was saying, we had Dennis Orcolo turn up to one of our events last year, which was surreal.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's sort
Dennis
of tied
Orcolo
in
sitting slumped in a chair on
it?
table 13 in Solihull. I mean, it was it was a bit odd.
I can't remember what event that tied in with, but it was the same sort of thing, wasn't it? Where there was a bigger event over here.
Slumped in a chair.
I think that was the week before the first UK Open.
Oh, was that? Yeah.
Yeah, so he came up and picked up his food and drink money on his way down to London.
I was going to say, you wouldn't. Tommy Donlan gave him a good. Tommy Donlan gave him a good game. No, Tommy probably should have won that match, to be honest, because I watched it. But I
love the fact that our sport is very, it's still very much small time, really. So outside of the geeks like us that play it, nobody knows who they are. There was one slightly just amusing moment where, like I say, you've got up there, one of the greatest players of all time, a bona fide pool superstar sitting there. And I think Steve nagged him about his bag being on the table or something like that on an adjacent table. And it's just like, it's like, do you know who you're talking to? It's like,
quality.
Yeah, no, I mean it's. I think maybe we'll see some players can maybe, even if it was on the Wednesday, the week before or something. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's only round the corner, really, isn't it? Telford. It's not a million miles away. I
entered the first two, but I don't know. It's not clear, how easy it's going to be to actually get in it this time. Because before it was just sort of, who can type their bank card number in the quickest.
That's the point. I haven't looked. Is it not a true open now? Then how's it working, or is it just demand is outstripping spaces? So they're going to do qualifiers or something? I don't know. How is it?
I'm not sure.
I've been hearing something like that. That basically, I think it's the top 128, and then I think they're going to do. I'm led to believe that they're going to do qualifiers throughout the country, but it's not something that I'm entering at all. I'm not involved. I don't want to get involved in it.
I'm going to go in it if I can. I mean, I'm.
In the fact that I don't want to go and play I wouldn't pay to go and play in a qualifier, but I certainly wouldn't want to go to like some club out and give them a couple of £100 just to try and get in a qualifier. And I want to play on proper equipment if you're going to pay that sort of money. That's why I've decided to stay on the Euro Tour.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's a good point, actually, about that. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stuff still going on in the background. I mean, what's your take on that, guys? Matchroom, EBPF. I mean, what if you had to choose? Would you choose, or I mean, who would you choose? I don't know.
Well, I think it's just a shame. It's a shame that you have to choose. Really, it's it's going a bit like the darts, isn't it? It'd be nice if everyone could sort of collaborate and come together, and you just always get this divide, don't you, where people seem to have to make decisions. I mean, for me, Matchroom just seems to, I don't know, they seem to put on a better show. I've always found all these other organisations are it's very difficult to follow. You sort of see this event pop up, but you're not 100% sure what it's for or what it means or what it's leading to. Or whereas Matchroom are it's very clear what's going on with their events. So I think I'd be.
Yeah, I do find it surprising though that you've got like probably 30 or 40 players, literally, maybe not even that, 20 or 30, that can probably genuinely go and win that Matchroom event. And yet the other tournaments are totally exposed with the level of quality, and none of these people are seeing that, and thinking, do you know what? I know I can't win that. I'm on about from the people, probably from about 30 to 60 in that ranking. They can't go and win at the Matchroom event, but they could certainly take some of these other big scalps on some of these other tours and earn some good money. Quite surprised that there's not a lot of those guys actually thinking like that.
There's they're obviously trying to grow the game and take it over, and in some ways, fair play to them, really. And obviously, I hope it all works out. The only thing I would say though, a few words of caution, like, so everyone's sort of getting a little bit tribal about it, like, yay, Matchroom, finally we've got a professional big company that's going to do things right and everything. But this whole kind of like, choosing between them and I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm not 100%, but at least I'm admitting it, I'm not 100% certain of all the ins and outs. I haven't fully researched it. But the whole kind of choosing between the WPA and Matchroom and stuff is not quite as simple. It's all right if you're an elite top 10, top 20 player or something. But I don't think it's quite as clear cut for further down below. So it's all very well all us amateur players, and you see it on Facebook and everywhere and on throughout the community, and everyone going, Matchroom's the way forward, fuck the WPA and everything. But it's like, hang on a minute, it's all right if you can finish top 8 regularly in the Matchroom tournaments, but the actual grassroots, because below the elite level, and I appreciate in Matchroom's defense they haven't had time yet to that they might say, look, we are going to try and do everything for the game at some point in the future, but Rome wasn't built in a day. But as it stands, the grassroots of the game, all the stuff, like half the European players, we all bang on every year about, well, I don't, I'm an America fan really, but most people bang on about how good we are in Team Europe and everything, the Mosconi Cup. And why are we so good? And that's because most of the players are Europeans. Obviously we had our heyday, the glory days with the UK players, but most of our players are Europeans, and they're coming from your Germanys and your Polands and stuff like that. And why are they all so good? Because they've got really good structures in place, and they'll get get funding, from the government, which goes through the sort of the PBF systems and stuff like that in place. I'm not an expert on it, I admit that.
We had a chat with
there's a lot of that going on.
Guest the other day about that.
Yeah, and it's all very well sort of, saying, fuck the WPA and everything. But like, hang on a minute, there's the whole, if you imagine you got the pyramid, Matchroom are going to be great for that top bit. But, the rest of the pool system needs the whole rest of the, all the other institutions as well. So what was it? The book of Matthew said, beware of false prophets. I don't like to be too kind of like, yay, Matchroom and everything, because let's face it, they're just a corporation. They don't care about the game. That's the only thing I will say. I'm not having a go at them, but there's this whole kind of worship in them. If you don't make money, they'll be gone. We'll still be playing the game on our Wednesday night flyers in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, long after Matchroom have left, if they don't make money out of it. So, before we get too sort of carried away that our saviours are here for us, I think we need to be a little bit more...
We'll wait and see what happens. I mean, it made me laugh. It made me laugh the other day when I seen that Jason Shaw was the first one to officially sort of sign.
It was like a picture
yeah, they put the picture.
Although, does anyone know?
Facebook.
Does anyone actually know a bit more as to what that entails? Being a
No, I don't. To be honest,
World
it just
Nine
made
Ball
me
Tour
smile.
pro.
And then, like next day, it was Billy Thorpe had done the same thing as well. I'm like,
oh, I missed that
oh,
one. Has he signed with them now?
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting.
That's interesting as well, given that Billy Thorpe was sort of out in the cold with Matchroom a little bit, wasn't he, for a while, because he was on the Moscone Cup team, and then he had that brawl in the pool room in America, which I don't know if you ever saw that, if you've seen it.
No, I didn't know. I mean, I thought
yeah,
it
it
was
was
for
quite-
something else that he got sort of a bit
No,
of a
it
ban for.
was quite controversial. I think he was pissed basically, and they were I saw the footage somewhere. It is out there, and basically he lunged at someone and threw a few punches or whatever. I think it was just handbags
Oh,
really.
that's funny.
Something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, I think it was like didn't reflect sort of well on him. So
Oh,
the
right,
room.
right.
I mean, I may be wrong. I'm not in with anyone, but the rumors were that was kind of the disciplinary thing that he did wrong, which sort of froze him out for a while. So it seems he's served his penance.
What about you, Tom? Did you get your contract and you thought look through it?
He got his shirt. Look.
Yeah, I've put a fine tooth comb through it. I think the issue I've got with it is once if I do decide to sign it and they sort of plaster me on Facebook or something, I'd have to come off benefits. It sort of gives the game away a bit, doesn't it? Your universal credit claim just sort of gets a bit awkward. So I might sort of leave it for as long as possible and see how things pan out. But I don't. Yeah, same as you. I don't really know what it is people sort of committing to. Really, I mean, I suppose as soon as they sign that, they're sort of.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing. Logically speaking, it's got to. Obviously, we don't know the details, but it has to be some sort of guaranteed money for him.
Yeah,
and on
sure.
the flip side, some commitment that it will exclusively play their events over certain others. Obviously, they're probably they haven't got the. I doubt they're going to be able to keep him out of all events, like maybe the International Open and China Open, and well, I'm trying to think of big events that are non-Matchroom really, but Derby City Classic, for example, they won't be. I don't think they'll keep him out of that and stuff, but yeah, it's probably just exclusivity to play, and he gets some guaranteed money. But
yeah, it's got to be something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens. But I guess over the next few days, we'll see more people officially signing with the little profile pictures and things like they put up on.
I've been in there commenting on everything. I'll tell you, I'm exhausting these people, mate. How no one's saying, for fuck's sake, man. They must just come and tell me straight away.
We'll wait and see. Yeah. What about your? I mean, I know. I've known you guys a while, but I mean, I don't know how long you've been playing the game, though. I've never really. So, I mean, how long have you been playing? I mean, Jan,
well,
when did you start?
I started.
Bollocks to you, Gareth.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember playing you a long time ago, and
I took you down like a buffalo.
I've had that story out a few times before, but
I took you down, mate. Winners stay with winners.
Winners stick with winners. That's why I'm sort of sticking with you now, isn't it? But anyway, Jan, when did you start playing 9-ball?
I'm probably
or
I'm one of the few.
General, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm probably one of the few players in the UK, I reckon, that actually started playing Q Sports with 9-ball. Probably explains why I don't have because a lot of the players in the UK have got like really solid Q actions, and that usually comes from like a snooker or English pool background, I think, doesn't it? It tends to. But yeah, when I was sort of started going out, I played a little bit when I was 15, 16, just the odd game of snooker, English pool, whatever I could get my hand on, and grab some pocket money from parents and stuff. But as soon as I was sort of 18, 19, 20-ish, whatever, I can't remember. I started going out, and I discovered an American pool table, and I just liked the size of the balls, the cues. I got a feel for.
The size of the balls, and I got a feel for them.
I just, just the simple satisfaction of striking a ball. I like that game better, basically, and I just got into it from an early age. So I never. I mean, I've always watched Q Sports, like from a child. I've watched thousands of hours of snooker and all the rest of it. But in terms of playing, as soon as I was sort of old enough to be going out alone, I was I fell in love with this game really.
Yeah.
Right.
So
the question is, how many years have you
been?
been playing then, Tom? Give it away.
Me?
Sorry, Jan.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. So yeah,
Oh.
I'm 30. I'm 36 now. So yeah, I didn't make a note of it when I played, but I reckon I was probably about 18, 19 when I started playing.
Yeah.
Would it have been
So,
at
yeah.
Solihull Riley's when you started?
No, it was annoying actually because I always vaguely knew of Hustlers as like the place to be in Dudley. That was like the hot spot.
Is that
It was,
where Tommy Dunman used to play, Andy Mystery?
I don't know about them two.
No, I think so. No.
But the point that I think Tommy Donna's been Leicester based for a long time. But
Right.
anyway, yeah. As soon as I sort of got into it, because like I say, there was one shitty little pool table in the corner of the snooker club where I discovered the game. Now I thought, hang on a minute, I like this game. I was going online. I was a bit of a geek as well, so I had online footage of the players and stuff before YouTube and stuff. As soon as I started to like it, I discovered Hustlers. Within about 6 to 12 months of going there regular, and there was a really good crowd there. The Monday night tournament.
Oh, would that have been when I first met you? Because I used to go to them.
Yeah, well, I will have played you or seen you back then, but I didn't really remember because about 6 months to a year after I started going, it closed down, and then it did reopen a couple of times, but it was never the same since. But that's a shame, really. That was a real hotbed. You'll remember better than me because you're obviously a lot older than me, Matt. You remember how you remember how busy that tournament was. Yeah, it was shame it closed.
Yeah, some good players come out of that. Mark Stevenson used to play out of there a lot. He was a really good player. Stuart Pritchard was
Chan
another one.
Used to run it, didn't
I remember
he?
Chan. I've seen him a few weeks ago, actually. A couple of months back, he was playing in a snooker match, West Midlands.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, well, I know you. He's like, yeah, how are you doing? But
I've seen Stuart Pritchard a couple of times over the years.
Stuart still plays snooker. Stuart still plays snooker on the West Midlands. I see him quite regularly, yeah.
I got myself a great deal as well. I mean, it's fine to give it away now, but I traded a stolen a knocked off Nintendo Wii for free table time in Hustlers, and that did me for about 7 months before it closed. Alan Lowe was in charge at that point.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Jonathan Mathers used to play out there as well.
Yeah, it was
Jonathan Mathers.
Yeah, he used to play out
a mutually beneficial deal for us. It was.
Yeah, good. What about yourself, Tom? How did you start out? Was it Q's? What discipline was you involved with?
I used to play snooker in a little town called Evesham, where I still live. To be honest with you, the mistake I made early on is I didn't branch out quick enough. I just kept playing in the sort of local snooker league, probably until my early 20s. Got to a fairly decent level. Knocking in centuries, and I made a maximum in practice. Never made a 154. I'm still trying to.
I was just about to say Bash had a maximum in practice. He had a 154 or something because he took the black first by accident.
Started with black. I never managed that. I'm still trying to work that one out. But
how did you take the black first?
I did. You've got to see it to believe it.
It's on YouTube. We've got the link somewhere, but he did the black first. Doesn't count really. That's a foul, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got forever.
Invalid break.
If you're going to just keep potting any ball you want, then but yeah, that's another story. But yeah, basically, I'd say probably 23. I moved up to Scarborough. I don't know if I think both of you were there actually, Matt.
I went to Scarborough once. Yeah, on
yeah.
I don't know whether it was it was a GB9, was it, or was it a B triple B? It was a
GB9. Yeah. Do you remember I turned up there in my convertible BM, Matt?
I can't remember. I've been in that BM before. I remember that, but
I parked it out the front and was getting tickets on the car. Yeah, sorry, go on, Tom. Sorry, mate.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, the only thing I remember about you, darkside, there is, I mean, you must have been doing pretty well at the time because I seem to remember you sort of turning around and offering the whole club a drink at some point during that. I think it was the first night, maybe the Friday night. So yeah, that was my first sort of.
Did you take me up on the offer?
I think, probably knowing me, yeah. So I probably still owe you one for that, but yeah, I mean, I can't know what year that was. 2006, 2007.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that. But it was quite. I thought it was quite a good little place up at Scarborough. I quite enjoyed it up there.
Yeah, I moved up there that year and just walked in for a game of snooker because it was a 5-minute walk from me, and And you just had all these Bible tables sort of scattered around, and I went up the stairs and practiced snooker. There was no one there, and I kept sort of walking past each day, and there was just all these people, drinking, pints flying everywhere, and having a game of nine ball. I thought that looks more fun than me sort of hiding away upstairs doing the lineup by myself. So
Yeah.
I just thought, I just had a go, and I think like a lot of people, that it's just a more free flowing game. You could have a few drinks and still actually string sort of 2 or 3 balls together. The games don't tend to get bogged down. It's you haven't got scoreboards and complicated rules and arguments going on like English pool, and it just seemed to suit my laziness, I suppose, because you could just sort of throw your arm at the shots, and just fell in love with the game there and then, and never really looked back, to be honest.
Were you a quicker player back then?
There was some geezer from, I think he was from Nottingham. Do you remember I don't know if you can remember the club at Scarborough, but it was up a couple of floors up, two, 3 floors up.
Yeah.
And he was pissed up and he jumped off the balcony on the very top. Did you remember that? He survived, you know what I mean? He didn't kill himself and he was fucking fine. He jumped off the top of that balcony and all the way to the bottom and done a roll at the fucking bottom.
Yeah, I do remember that. Do you know how? Because my legs still hurt. My knees are absolutely killing me. No, I don't know.
Was he a player or was he just a random? Was he a player or was he?
No, he was a player. Yeah, and he moved to Canada that year.
He probably played Tom in the first round of a competition or something. He was just taking his time and he'd had enough. Like, I'm going to jump off this.
Never forget it.
I do remember someone jumping off a balcony at about 2-all after I tucked him up for about the 15th time. So it's probably that game. But no, like you say, it was a good club. And I think back then these clubs were all over the place. You had you'd play in Scarborough one week, and then maybe a couple of weeks later you'd be in Manchester and like you say, Nottingham, and
around that time
it was
the game was sort of booming a little bit around that time, wasn't it? From what I know, I think, like I say, I was probably just coming into it then. I looking back now, I've since sort of realised and worked out that probably when I sort of started playing, came into the game, was when it was sort of on the crest of a wave, and we had all Dal Peach and Dal Appleton, and
so was it
all these UK players.
When you started playing, Jan, or was it BPPA?
I think GB9 was in existence. I mean, I didn't play on it, but I think it was in existence there. It was GB9. But then, it was sort of a long, sort of slow decline, really, I suppose, in recent years. But obviously, now probably the last couple of years, it's seems to be back again, doesn't it?
Well, we'll wait and see.
Well, basically,
hopefully it is. I mean, I think Solihull.
In terms of the local scene, it is back.
Yeah. I think Solihull is the hub of 9-ball pool in sort of the Midlands area. I think because we're getting a lot more other players coming over now, having a go at the game, enjoying the game, and then they'll bring other people in, and it's a tricky thing to do. What, in your opinion, what could you do to make more people sort of take part in them Sunday flyers? Well, not flyers, but Sunday tour events. Because I know in recent, last couple of years, like you said, yes, the numbers have dropped slightly, but maybe they'll come back with GB9. But is there anything you can think of to do to get more people into these events again?
If I'm honest, nothing major jumps out at me. I think it's all. I think we need to accept, and maybe I sound a bit defeatist here, but we need to accept we're always going to be in a slightly difficult spot in this country, this game, because we're fighting with 2 other Q sports, so we're always going to have that issue. But I think we do all right. There's a balance, isn't there? Because if you make it cheaper. And this is the thing, you see, we all play at different levels as well. For example, I'm just one of the, I love the game and everything, but I'm never going to, go past a couple of rounds. I'm just an enthusiastic amateur, really. But, you make it too expensive and then you price out your more casual players and your lesser skilled players. You make it cheaper and you don't get your big names coming because it's not worth it. It's not easy to strike a perfect balance, really. I think we've done pretty well, to be honest with you. Daryl in particular should take a lot of the credit, really, because it's very much his brainchild, really, sort of running because Alan used to be Mr. Solihull tournaments for many years. He was sort of the man when I first Andy Warden, and then Alan running the Wednesday nights. But sort of Alan changed his job and sort of does a lot of. He's a lorry driver and his shifts aren't conducive to running the tournament, so he sort of passed the baton to Andy. And Andy, for example, I know he gets a bit of stick from us all. We all like to take the piss out of him, crash bang, but he does put in a lot of effort, really nagging people and texting people and pushing people and doing his best to get the numbers up. But yeah, it's difficult because the thing in terms of suggestions, it's difficult. So, for example, one of the things that I did like it when it was handicapped before. I kind of think that does make sense. And I know I'm perhaps in the minority there, but I do like the handicaps in theory. But again, you can never tell what difference it's going to make because it's a captive audience. So I'll still go, even though I'd prefer it with handicaps. And there's probably other people that would prefer a handicap that will still go anyway. So does it make any difference to numbers? I don't know. It's difficult.
Yeah.
You're going to do some more coverage. You're going to do some more coverage, I think, aren't we? At the next few, maybe more streaming, bit of a player interview type things. Maybe I don't know. Tom's going to have a bit of
maybe. I was going to say maybe that side of things is going to make the difference, and Tom's very much the spearhead behind all those kind of suggestions.
Yeah,
really.
Tell us a bit about that, Tom. What are you thinking on that back front there?
Well, yeah, I'm the bloke with all the suggestions, but absolutely no sort of idea on how you actually do it, if you know what I mean. I just sort of plant the seeds and sort of let everyone else work it out from there. But I think the way I see, again, going back sort of before GB9, to me, a lot of the tournaments, going back to the Scarborough one, down the other end, I remember going to one in Bournemouth. It used to bring more players in because you'd be travelling to these different clubs and someone would be playing snooker or English pool on another table, and they'd be like, oh, what's this? And what's that you're playing? And then, the next one you might see them there, and then I think this is the problem with GB9 just being in one place. The sort of is it Bradford it's going to next? It's not very inviting for people who live down south, and I just think if it was sort of I personally would like to see one big ranking list with all these club competitions sort of collaborating together. So you've got, I don't know, Scotland, Leicester, Solihull, High Wycombe, Redhill, whatever it is. The ones in London, Tooting. So everyone, committee, to me, that should be the committee, not GB9. The committee should be, Darryl, Phil Wildman, Ashik, the people running these Sunday comps should all be coming together. They should be meeting in, on Zoom like this, once a quarter or once a month. And I don't know. I just think it should be accessible wherever you live in the country. To rather than some people have got a 20-minute drive to get to a ranking event. Some people have got a 5-hour drive. I don't know. I don't think it brings more people into the game because you're hidden away in the hotel as well. You're not. People aren't seeing you. Other people in the club aren't seeing it.
With GB9 and I know because I was on committee in GB9 for a while, and again, not that it's sort of I'm not sort of arguing with what you're saying, but yeah, the reason why it switched from being a tour, so to speak, to all based at Telford was purely just money, logistics, the amount of money it was costing to cart the tables round in a container and a couple of lorries every event was just prohibitive. But yeah, no, I do agree. What you're saying there, Tom, is the dream, isn't it? I suppose, but it's whether it's feasible to link everything up quite.
That's a good idea, I think.
Oh yeah, but don't get me wrong. I don't mean move the tables around to all these venues. I mean, play events in clubs and maybe have the GB9 just like the major, like think like golf. You've got the tour events each week, and then every now and then you've got a major. Maybe GB9 could be the majors. Every I don't know.
And how could you link? I'm just thinking out loud. How could you link them? I'm not saying you can't. I'm just thinking out loud and asking questions. I mean, how could you link them on the base? I mean, for example, would if I'm based in the Midlands and I'm entering mainly Solihull events and say a couple and Leicester events, and my point's going to be as valid or as worth the same as someone playing down below, down south. Sorry, in London or. I don't know.
Well, I suppose what you'd get the numbers. You know, for example, if you came to London, you'd feel the event. If you went to the Midlands, you'd feel it, and if you went to Scotland, you would feel it. But the good thing about these clubs these days is that, like, when you think about places like Solihull, Redhill, High Wycombe, Tooting, they're actually coming on now with the quality of their equipment. So again, that would be something that wouldn't be an issue. That was an issue many years ago when we used to go and play on these BBBA events at Scarborough and Man. You didn't know what you was coming up against. At least you've got a solid base with these clubs now, where they're actually looking after. You've got dedicated owners that are actually looking after the equipment. So that's a major
I remember
plus.
playing. Was it High Wycombe before the revamp? I played in a tournament there. Black cloth with Jack Daniels logos all over it.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, exactly. But the good thing is, them days are gone now. You know, they're a thing of the past. So it's certainly feasible. But like we're saying, who wants to do it? That's the question.
I think it's like the collaboration thing. I think, like you were saying there, Tom, with
that's it.
You know, you got Daryl, you got Ashik, you've got Phil, you've got people in Scotland. I mean, if you get some sort of maybe maybe they could all come together and formulate a bigger event. You know, where you get everybody come for a bigger event or something. I don't know. But yeah, I like the idea.
And then merge it in, like Tom says, and have like what GB9 is at the moment, have that as some sort of like grand finals kind of events or something like that.
When we were talking with Ina Kaplan the other
or majors,
they do like a national tour, like not tour, but it's almost the equivalent of county pool, English pool, but it was for American pool, and that's what they sort of did in Germany. And they've got all the professional players, a lot of the professional players playing in it's like a league division, and I think they said Joshua Filler plays in the team in Division 2 or something. Just to help him out, because he knows it's almost like that. But I mean, 9-ball in the UK is not big enough for something like that. But maybe you could do something through the way of these tournaments that everybody's putting on all the time. Yeah, I mean,
just a quick question, Matt. We're still broadcasting live here? Because we've got a little issue at our end.
I'm still right, mate.
Yeah, it's all good. No, I just saw something there that just said the live feed had cut off. Go on, no worries. Go on, it's okay. Sorry about that.
Can I just sort of say something as well? Like, interestingly, I was having a chat to my best mate's dad, and he's into his sport. He loves he's a bookmaker, loves his football and his darts and stuff like that. And he watches the Moscone Cup every year, and he knows I play it as well. So I was having some Christmas drinks with him, and it struck me a bit, actually. He always asked me a little bit about it, and we ended up having a chat. But this year, it struck me a little bit more, just how much he was asking about it. He was asking me questions about, because he was watching it with his son, and he was wondering what the template rack was. Then I think we watched a clip of something, and I had a bit of a moan about the rule change, some rule or something, and he was asking me a bunch of questions about that. Anyway, the point to this is, it surprised me a little bit, but just the deep level of interest from a casual fan, got no interest in Q Sports particularly. Is your typical, armchair sports fan, really, in many ways. That's, British, so watches a bit of snooker, knows the players, but doesn't know so much about 9-ball. And he was saying he really enjoys it. So on the one hand, I'm a little bit defeatist about the game sometimes, because I just think it's going to be tough to ever compete with snooker and English pool. But there are a lot of people out there. He reckons, he was saying to me, it's the most entertaining Q Sport game he's watched. He says he prefers it to snooker, and that surprised me. I didn't expect him to say that. He says he liked the strategy in it. He says he thinks it's a better game than snooker. It just shows that if you keep pushing it, and I know perhaps we can all get a little bit defeated sometimes, but there are people out there that will enjoy the game and will take to it. It was just surprising, like I say, because we're all interested in it. But somebody that doesn't follow the game, he was fascinated, full of questions, and he's going to be sort of. I told him a little bit about Matchroom, sort of, coming into the game now, and of course, he knows Matchroom sport. He's going to be looking out for the UK Open this year and a couple of the other WNT tournaments and stuff.
Well, the more Matchroom do with the game, I mean, you'd expect a bit more of that to naturally start happening with people that won't necessarily have even considered what 9-ball is, until and Matchroom obviously will do their thing and filter it all out. which is good. I mean, one of the other things I was going to ask you as well is I know we have a lot of banter on a little WhatsApp group all the time, and you've got a bit of a rep as like the I don't know, the what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think. Controversial stuff, mate. I mean, we had a bit of a debate the other day about what was it, 10 ball or something.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think
wanted to ask you a bit about that. I mean,
yeah, I
Gareth,
think
what...
well, I think that people just misread me.
No, I was talking to Jan, not you.
Yeah.
No, it was about the rules or something, Jan. What was that about?
Yeah. So I just got a little bit frustrated because basically, where do I even start with this? So 10 ball, I think is the best rotation game that you can play. I think it's better than 9 ball, and especially for the top pros. 10 ball has been played since early 70s, and all it does is it just makes the game a little bit more difficult because it invites a break from the middle of the table rather than the side. So it's a bit more of a skilled shot to break hard from the center of the table usually than from the side. Traditionally, it's more difficult to make a ball, and you end up with an extra ball on the table, so the run out's a bit more difficult and perhaps an extra cluster or two. And that was what it was for. It's the same as 9 ball essentially, and that's perfect because 9 ball, 10 ball is a wonderfully pure game, and it fixes some of the flaws in the 9 ball rack. Because the problem with 9 ball and what was happening as the equipment was getting a lot better in the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, when we were starting to use template racks. A lot of the flaws in the 9 ball rack, the shape of it weren't as apparent in the olden days because there were gaps in the rack and everything like that. And players, of course, become more knowledgeable. But now with the super fine fast cloths, template racks, the 9 ball shape of the rack at a high level is prohibitive to real sort of high level play because as we all know, you rack the balls low in the correct place. One should go on the spot traditionally, but the corner ball goes in. So the reason why we have to faff about with it to try and fix 9 ball is we move the rack up, but that doesn't fix it completely because what do we all do when we break at 9 ball? We just medium break, don't we? Soft break and cut the one in the side. Well, yeah, but we struggle a bit more at at lower levels. But the pros, one in the side on sort of 7 out of 10 breaks. So 10 ball was always just a slightly more difficult version of the game, and it just fixes the flaws in the 9 ball rack. But anyway, long story short, about 10 years ago, a lot of there was quite a few sort of big money games that were going on in the Philippines and America and stuff, and the WPA noticed that they were playing 10 ball because of course players are playing cash games. They want to try and have a bigger test of skill, and they were choosing 10 ball for whatever reason. And the WPA thought, we need to give this a specific set of rules, so they made it call shot, which completely just ruins the game. The beauty of pool of rotation games like 9 ball and 10 ball is it's a lovely mix between skill and it's got that kind of dollop of luck in it, which turns the game into like a test of a test of skill, but also a test of mental strength as well, because we've all been there. You miss a couple of shots, you fuck up, and then what happens? You start getting all the rolls against you. That's what 9 ball is. It's a test of that mental strength. It's not about like because somebody got a good roll, that's the reason why I've lost the game. All this trying to take luck out of the game, because you can't, just because you make the shot call shot, it takes two-way shots out of the game. And you can't take luck out of the game anyway, because what happens when you break and you get a fortunate layout or an unfortunate layout, or you're in a situation where you can just play a nice easy stick the cue ball and play a dead easy safe. You've got lucky there, haven't you? So it just makes the game impure. But of course, ended up in a bloody debate and argument in the WhatsApp group because everyone's like, what? 10 ball? Why would you play 10 ball the same as 9 ball? Because that's the bloody game. That's how we've always played it. And, we got...
Have you got any thoughts on that, Tom?
Play it properly.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that you call that cutting the long story short.
Well, that's short for me.
Because the part after that was longer than the part that preceded it. But how are you single, Jan?
well, I know it's a mystery, isn't it? It's a mystery.
Knowledge.
Oh no, I know. But look, what it is. People in life, and this is a phenomenon in life. People don't know what they want. It's the same with speaking of being single. It's the same with women. If you ask a woman what she wants in a man, what she'll say isn't necessarily what she wants. And it's the same as I mentioned it earlier, but Henry Ford was asked once, why didn't you ask your customer? I can't remember exactly how the conversation went, but he was asked why he didn't ask his customers for their opinions on what products he made. And he says, look, if I asked my customers, they would have told me they just wanted a faster horse. They didn't know they wanted the motor car until he made it for them. It's like VAR in football. Everyone says, oh, all we just want is the correct decision. It's bullshit. It's these tiny decisions that go on. They make a big difference. There's millions of pounds involved in the Premier League nowadays. It affects relegation. We just want the correct decision. No, you don't. You don't at all. You just want the game to be roughly fair, and in the back of your mind the decisions will even out over the season. And you want the purity of the game to remain. VAR now, it's ridiculous because you can't celebrate when a goal goes in. And what's the other problem with it as well? Yeah, half the decisions you can review them on the replay a million times. You still can't tell whether a player has gone down easy or not. So it doesn't fix anything. Anyway, going off onto Paul, it's the same with this. Players think that they want to remove the lock, but why do you really? That's the game. That is the game. The game involves a bit of fortune. It's about playing a longish race. And you get momentum swings where one person gets a few rolls in a row, and then one person has got the choice between either crumbling or getting pissed off or blaming luck or staying strong and mounting a comeback. That's the game. It's a game of momentum and good fortune.
So do you like a bit of luck then, Jan?
I do, but the thing is, I don't. It's not like I'm winning all the time because of luck. It's just
like it going against you though, because I've seen that cue go swiping a few times.
Exactly. I'm not going to act like I'm great at managing it, but I understand that that's what the game is. It's and there's nothing. And yeah, well, yeah, it does. It does.
It's almost if there's a secret force, isn't there?
Well, yeah. They don't call me the ninja for no reason.
That's why he's got about 5 cues in his case. I looked at it the other day. Why have you got that many cues? Well, there's only one of them that works.
But no, there's nothing wrong with a dollop of luck being involved in a sport. Probably the oldest game in the world, sort of one of the greatest sort of board games that's ever played, backgammon. I'm half Turkish, and that's big in Turkish culture. So I've always been brought up playing a lot of backgammon. But it's a brilliant game, and it's obviously it's skill based, but you play with dice. The amount of times when playing a game of backgammon and you're in a perfect position, you got all your pieces in the good places, you got houses built, and there's only one combination of dice that can screw you over, and they get it, and it's fucking
it's great.
Fuck, have you got that?
Look,
and that's what the game is.
Yeah,
what the game
you
is.
Need a bit of luck sometimes.
Yeah, honestly, Nick, I'm going to look out for it now because we've had this conversation. I'm going to look out for it, but I really want to see the next time at Solihull where somebody has truly lost a game because of luck. I don't think it really happens.
Well, ask Bash. Bash will have something to say about that, wouldn't he? But no, look, I mean, everybody. Well, not everybody. A lot of people moan about, they did this, they did that, and all this. But people forget the time when it goes right for them sometimes. And secretly, when you're in a match, a big match or whatever, you going to whatever you're racing to, and you do a shot, and it comes off lucky. You might go, oh, I'm sorry, you put your hand, I'm sorry, mate, but really, you fucking love it, don't you?
I love it, yeah, exactly.
It's like, really, you love the fact that you...
Yeah, because if you use that guilt, you'd give the frame up, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Of course you would. Have you ever done that, Gareth?
All the time, mate.
Well, I was thinking, like, following off from what Bash mentioned during his, I thought, rather than, in the interest of fairness, rather than just sort of giving the jammy dodgers, piling them up on the side of the flukes. If you also bring some mince pies as well, And
Oh, I love a
then
mince pie.
every time you get a bit of luck go your way, you get a mince pie. So rather than just counting the luck against, and then at the end of the match, you can sort of
Yeah,
weigh
good
up
point.
the
Okay.
mince pies with the jammy
A, co-
dodgers.
a
Do you know
confectionery,
what? That is a very good
confectionery
point.
style.
Yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
put that to Bash.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he's onto something. Don't get me wrong, but he's not fully, he's not thought about the full picture. So
End of the day, you could play placement pool, where you just get the little stickers. There's stickers that you reinforce the holes on A4 paper with to go in a ring binder. Have you ever seen them? They're like little
Yeah.
polos stickers.
Like polos, yeah.
You can get those, and it's called placement pool. And you basically just have a layout of maybe all 9 balls or 8 or whatever of a specific layout on the table, and you get so many attempts, and everyone can attempt the same layout, and that's your true test of skill, because everybody attempts the same layout. But imagine how dreary that would be.
Yeah.
always like
Pretty
listening to
boring.
you.
Wow.
No, I'm joking. No, joking.
Speaking about 10 ball, yeah, I mean, look, I prefer 9. I just find I like 10 ball, but I just find it a bit more boring.
But is that
one
because you've been
extra
conditioned?
ball, no.
But is that because you've been conditioned to playing it with? I mean, when was the last time you played it properly? You know what I mean? As opposed
Yeah,
to
with the break like mine, I
ball
play
shot.
6 ball. I don't know what you lot are on about.
Yeah, but
No.
But that's
problem
another thing.
with that, Chad,
Oh, go on.
I think it holds the sport back. I think if you start dicking about with 10 ball, 8 ball, bank pool, straight pool, and all this sort of stuff, I think this is where it goes wrong. People
Okay,
watch it get confused. If you want to bring more people into the game, you need to stop
Well,
changing the rules of the so people don't know what's happening. Like,
perhaps, but I mean, look, we're verging onto a different topic here. But when 9 ball and 10 ball are the same game, they're just variations or equivalent. So I agree with you there. Some at the top level for TV, yeah, decide on one and stick with it. Arguably, I think it should be 10 ball personally, but play properly. But again, we're verging into a different topic when you say dicking about. I don't like that in a way, and that's one of the things I struggle with as well, because the whole kind of dismissing other games like 8 ball and bank pool and one pocket and straight pool, the king of them all, as dismissing it as dicking about. I mean, this is the game's heritage, and the thing is, what we've got to be wary of, and this is the bit that maybe I sound a little bit sort of pious and philosophical here a little bit, but I hate this. Lots of sports and things just in life, it happens where you sell out, you lose your soul to try and appeal to people out there that don't love the game and never will anyway, and I think one of the beauties of pool, and maybe it's a double-edged sword, maybe it's also the thing that holds us back as well, because we don't have one discipline to unite around like snooker does, or English 8. Well, it's got its rule variations, hasn't it? But say snooker, nobody plays other variations of games on the snooker table. It's just snooker. So yeah, it does hold us back a little bit, but it's also one of the great beauties of the game as well. The fact that there are multiple disciplines. 8 ball's a great game. Straight pool is a great game. Bank pool, one pocket. And I'm not suggesting we don't have the interest in this country to be running those kind of tournaments as well, but I don't like it when people dismiss those games as well, as if to say, we fuck all them off and just play 9 ball just so we can get people interested. Because the people who are interested are going to watch it anyway. Like the other thing as well, like in snooker, the whole kind of let's get the players dressing like slobs, because the kids don't want to see people playing, dressed in a dinner suit and a waistcoat and stuff. Come on, we're cool, aren't we? I think, and we liked snooker when we first watched it as a kid. Didn't we? We didn't put us off.
It's the woke agenda, mate.
Yeah, I just think, so we're going to, say, take that perfect example in snooker. We're going to lose our tradition, our heritage, thing that makes the game unique, which is, the players dressed, nice and smart and everything. For what? To try and appeal to some kids that aren't going to be interested anyway, and they'd rather, watch TikTok and play Fortnite.
Yeah, good points.
And I think sometimes we've got to be careful of that. Too much kind of, let's fuck this off about our game. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Shot clock. Shot clock's another one as well. The shot clock's pretty stupid as well sometimes, 10 seconds. But anyway, but obviously when we got, people like
me
Matt
and
and
Tom
Tom
get
here.
moaned at because they reckon
Yeah.
we're so slow, and that's just
I know.
nonsense,
yeah,
think,
but you don't need a shot clock, do you, Matt? Jesus.
I can take it or leave it.
Well, if it was about 2 minutes. 2 minutes of shot, I can live with that, maybe.
But yeah, I think we've got to be a little bit careful sometimes. Just chucking all of our heritage and the entirety of our game out the window, just so we can appeal to this mythical group of fans that's supposedly out there and ready to pounce with their interest and their money. And I'm not so sure it's ever going to be there, really.
No, it didn't happen in the prime of it, like you say, when it was at its height in the mid 2000s. So I can't see it. I can't see it actually. If we want to really progress this game at club level, we have to play with the same equipment that they play in like Europe. You just go and play. You just go over to Holland just for a day out and go and play 9-ball. The equipment is just second to none. It really is good stuff. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, we compromise a lot with that, but I say, fortunately, we are on the way up in regards to certain clubs. But I just wanted to ask you guys, what cues do you use, guys? Tom, what do you use?
Yeah, I've got a Predator cue. I don't even know the name of it, to be honest. I'm the worst person in the world when it comes to equipment and names of cues and stuff. I think it's a Predator, the end with a tip on. That's my Predator. And the other one's just some cheap one from the internet. But actually, funny enough, on that subject, a few months back, I was actually told off by someone working at the club for bringing snacks into the club. Which is why we weren't able to do a what's in the case with me the other night, because
it would unveil the
yeah. So what my missus has done for Christmas to sort of get around that, she's got me a new cue case to take in. But there it is. Well, they think it's a cue case, so that's the eh?
It's just a load of Pringles.
Quality.
So that's how you get around that. But no, honestly, cue-wise, I used to use a snooker cue, but it just bends, doesn't it? It's I think the snooker cue is actually easier to use, but you have to buy one every 2 or 3 weeks, so it starts to get a bit expensive, doesn't it?
What about you, Ian?
I did play with a Predator Sport 2, which I bought particularly because I like the tacky grip, because obviously the tackier the grip, the looser. I like a nice loose grip. But yeah, and then I liked it. Although
all being a single man.
but then I got a bit annoyed towards the end because the rubber was no longer tacky, and it was smoother and slippier than if there was no grip there in the first place, which pissed me off. I mean, I could have got it rewrapped or something, but anyway, so I'd had that for about 7 years or something, so I decided to splash out a bit on one of Elliot's Jacoby cues. He nagged me, and I thought, sod it, I'll give him a sail. But I got this beautiful looking Jacoby cue, really, with a nice selection of woods and some green splices in it and stuff like that. And I've switched to a carbon fiber shaft. I'm a little bit torn on the carbon fiber, really, because to me they don't hit as nice as a wooden shaft. But I am somebody that loses my rag when I play a little bit, and it's nice to be able to just whack the. And I'm being serious. I'm not joking. It's not. I am a bit OCD. And I just hate the feel of any nicks or dents or nicks in the shaft. So which obviously happens to wood over time. But with a carbon fiber, you can give it a rap on the table when you miss, or whack it, and it's just perfect. It's like new. So in all seriousness, it is the durability of the carbon fiber, which is keeping me playing with it. Doesn't every now and again I get my wooden shaft out. And it just feels a lot nicer, but of course I'd have to adapt to playing with it. So yeah, I'll play with the carbon fiber now. But yeah, I've got one of those keel wood shafts in my case.
Can I just ask, when you go into like a cue shop or something, and they sort of line up a selection of cues, do you just pick it up and start slamming it on the table? Like,
well,
oh yeah, that one hasn't snapped. That'll do.
But well, that is in my list of considerations. So yeah,
durability.
But no, so I know it seems silly, but like yeah, the durability of the things is the real innovation to the carbon fiber. I think, at the end of the day, you're not going to pop balls any different or any better than with wood. Really, they're all straight.
It's quite something, really. It took quite a while for them cues to kick on. Johnny Archer was one of the first to start playing with carbon. Yeah, he was one of the first. Late 1990s, he used to play with a carbon shaft, and it never kicked off until. Well, I assume, like I said, I've been off the scene for quite a few years, but
was it? And again, I don't know. So, but was it actually carbon fiber? Because I know back in the day, Q-Tech used to do the sort of some NAF fiberglass coated cues.
It could have been. Yeah, it could have. I think it was
Scorpion cues, Johnny Archer, didn't he?
Scorpion cues, yes.
Yeah,
his own brand, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Well, it's interesting seeing what's happening in snooker now, isn't it? So finally, because that's the thing with snooker, and again, it's its own game, and it's not my favourite cue sport. Pool is, but I love snooker as well, and it's its own thing. But pool's always been the cue sport that's been on the the real vanguard of technology and progress. Gloves, fancy chalks, carbon fiber shafts, layered tips, all that sort of stuff. But it does follow, and you see the odd snooker player now with a glove. They're all using Town chalk.
Is that Jockey Wilson? Is that his name?
Jockey Wilson.
Yeah, Cliff Wilson. What's his name?
Jockey Wilson. He's a darts player.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, Jockey Wilson was the dart. Oh, I know what you mean. Gary Wilson.
No.
Was it Gary Wilson playing?
He's got a moustache. He got 147, and O'Sullivan got one as well.
Bash?
No, not O'Sullivan. Selby got a 147 in the final, and then the other guy got 147 in the leading up to it. Jockey Wilson, that's definitely it.
Jockey Wilson was a darter that died in the 80s, I think.
How many cams you had?
I don't know.
Kyron Wilson.
Shit! Yeah, you're right. He has got the little.
Yeah, it's his son, isn't it? It's his son.
Little tash.
Jockey's son.
But that'll be interesting to see if they if that takes off a little bit. I know Sean Murphy's started taking a bit of stick recently, hasn't he? Because he's using multiple cues.
It's just a psychological edge, a lot of it, isn't it?
Shane Conroy from Solihull, just on the subject, he's got a different cue for every shot. It's like he's got like a golf bag with just a selection of, he's got one for left spin, right spin, top, bottom, a safety cue, a potting cue, break cue, jump cue.
He uses one to miss with as well.
Yeah, fluke cue, that's it.
Yeah.
It's
well, speaking of
overcomplicate it. Go on.
Yeah. I was just saying, speaking of the Solihull thing again, I mean, what is the best way? I mean, people that don't necessarily, they just don't just walk through the door. A lot of people, I mean, some people might, but if they wanted to find Solihull 9-ball and do a bit more research, what's their events? What's the best place to get that information about the tournaments and things for people who are interested to maybe come up? Because on a Wednesday night, for example, I mean, we've seen a lot of new people come recent weeks on the Wednesdays. I mean, they must have found out about that somewhere. Where is the best place to get that information?
I think Facebook is the main thing nowadays.
What's the page? Is it on Facebook? Then is it? Do you have to be a member? Accepted, or can anybody find that?
Yeah, so you have to request to join the group, and there's a few of us with admin rights will approve it. So
what's the name of the group then?
It's just Solihull 9-ball from memory. Yeah, Solihull 9-ball should be easy to find. In terms of the Wednesday nights, I mean, to be honest, you can just turn up. I would say play starts at pronto on the dot at 8 or 7:30 or whatever, but Andy runs it, so it's always lagging a little bit behind. But yeah, you can just turn up, although it is a good idea to message Andrew Carter, who's on the group beforehand, just in case it is a busy night.
Just to add to that, the grand finals, are on the 3rd of January, aren't they? So the start of the season is the 10th of January for anyone else, presumably.
Yeah, it'd be a good time actually to get some new faces in on the 10th of January, the first start of it again.
Yeah. Although at the
Yeah.
same time, so people, if anyone's thinking of turning up, it's just a weekly tournament. It's not a big deal. You don't need to worry about the season. If you go regular, then every so often, although we're looking to change how often the finals night will be, then one of the Wednesdays, like once every 6 months or once every 3 months or whatever it is, will be the finals night. But that's not something you need to pay too much attention to, really.
And it's only a tenner as well, isn't it?
Yep, £10,
Brilliant.
and you can get and you can still just about get a can of Iron Brew for less than a £5. So yeah, value behind the bar as well.
Brilliant. Well, look, guys. I mean, thanks for coming on. I'm going to cut this short in a minute because I'm starving. I've got to go and get some food. It's like 10:30. I was going to get something from the Chinese, but I'm hoping they'll still be open now. But just before we do a runner, next event, like I say, January for the big Sunday series. I'm guessing you guys are both playing in that. Is that right? I mean, Tom, are you going to go on all these Sundays again?
Yeah. So I think the first one's January the 21st. So that's the first Sunday. And I was speaking to Darryl earlier, and he said entries in as soon as possible.
Yeah, I know he usually does something, but I think it's a bit different this year where you can just pay per event. I think now you don't have to pay up front or anything. I think it's a little bit more, I think, to enter. It's another £10 per event and extra, but you can just pay on the day
I think it's cheaper actually. I think it's £40 per event, or you can pay £300, which gets you into all the events over the season. But yeah, he did ask to say if they're expecting quite a high volume of interest for the 2024 season. So if everyone could try and get their entries in as soon as possible, he said that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, brilliant. Well, look, it's been great having you on. I mean, I'll see you on the grand final night next Wednesday. Hopefully,
thanks for coming on, guys.
Go deep
Very
in
entertaining. Very
brilliant.
Thanks for having us.
No, that's brilliant, and obviously have a happy New Year, and then I'll see you next Wednesday,
guys. Legends.
Merry
Take
Christmas.
it easy, boys.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.